Alrighty then. Let's get right into the world, yeah? Nothing like figuring out what the heck happened in our extensive universe here that I've created for our players. So, I'm also joined by one of the players, Venix William, Mike here. Mike, say hi.
What's up? Why?
Just wanted to say hi.
Hello?
Yeah. So, I'm gonna go ahead and go through all the world details here and give the whole rundown on what Xuven actually is.
Are you live?
Yeah. I don't know why the Discord doesn't show it anymore, but oh well. Alright, I had like a whole spiel for the world, but this is what my players were told. Rolling grassy knolls and the battled brooks and beaches is what the Xuven Empire is mostly known for, along with their ever-expansive mines and hardy farms along the rivers that the mountain continues to feed with crisp, cold runoff. With the country being settled on the interior curve of the Plainstone summits, the country is guarded from attacks from the north with strong bonds of the past with the west. They have no fear of taking over the weak east. As the open hills and deep spruce forests offer plentiful game and mythical beasts, the oceans and rivers of the land offer plenty the same. Hunger is not known in the Empire, and there is always a job to be had. It is known that the Xuven Empire has a wealth of mineral resources, with the mountains to the north, and the town of Tamari has boomed in the iron and silver trade, while Kabazurum continues to grow with the recent discovery of a wealth of coal. As for the south, the capital of Zilbis is the main port for all commerce, bringing in plenty of other national goods. The ocean to the south supplies fish and whaling, along with some deep-sea exploration and ruins from a time unknown, though it is known that deep in the mountains, on valleys uncharted, live a clan of hardy dwarves who shut out any visitors. Many say they kill anyone who stumbles upon their lands, but every lifetime or another, dwarf leaves the mountains to discover the world once again. Other than that, the populace live in peace with one another. Elves, human, and any combination, but lizard folk and their demon counterparts are rare. The region is still much to unearth, with the annexation of the Ardor lands to the east. Some say that the hot spring was discovered not too far from Kalanese, and sages say a beast slumbers in the waters below, bellowing its heat into the dormant volcano. In the salt waters of the ocean, people say Marfolk whisked away a whole galley of sailors in the war, but of course, no one survived to tell the tale. And lastly, word from Krevisk is that large flying beasts have been spotted once every 3 months, which can be seen swooping into the ravines of the mountain, returning to the sky, headed towards the peak of Blainstone Summit, where they assume their den lies. But now, in the Xuven Empire, there is an air of rebellion and unhappiness among the people. The king, Verk of Sagefall, has overstepped one too many times, with the conscription of boys not even old enough to drink for the last war, along with allying with dark magicians and witches, whom many say convene with demons and the great old ones. Now, families are left without heirs, and most importantly, without a loved one. So, the current army, and all the people of the realm, save for the nobles who had the gold to have their way, have begun their guerrilla attacks on the mercenaries that the king and his band of nobles continue to purchase. Currently, he and his court reside at the capital of Bazilbis with a tight grip on the ins and outs of the city. Already, a gruesome battle has occurred in the area of Tolu, leaving hundreds dead on either side, the ground forever soiled by blood. Neither side is going to give up easily or soon. Not much. Lower me, not much. So, that's what I told all our players. To get everybody started, we worked together to come up with all their backstories and such like that. We'll dive into that whenever we get to the characters. But it started off here in the beautiful town of Urt. The town of Urt is a small, happy village living at the crossroads of the north. The village sees plenty of foot traffic and trade. Other than that, people live day to day with simple happenings in our lives. And with this, they were able to hang out in city. Every character had been here for a month or two, if not longer. Especially our paladin, he's been here for a couple years, I believe it was. But, so he had a bit of a foothold in the city. He resided in the temple over here with a couple followers. He was like the main focal point of this whole party gathering as well. But they were all, of course, every great story starts out inside the tavern. We had our bard here, Benix Valerium, sitting out in the corner, jamming away his tunes and singing his horrible melodies. While we had Vodar, who actually is a cleric, he stayed with Leocris in the temple, so those two were already familiar with one another. But as Zangutin, our sorcerer, he was a recent addition to the town. He kind of made his way in. He's only been there for a few days, maybe a month. He's a little bit of a shady character, but he's also hanging out. Zosk, our barbarian, was somebody who took part in that siege of Tolu. He had a foothold in the rebellion. He claimed numerous lives against the king, but he's really there for the glory, not for the rebellion. And after the siege of Tolu kind of fell back and forced rebellion to retreat, he resided in Urt and let his own story form there. So that also brought him to the bar. And after some requests from the city guards of Urt, they were asked to they asked Leocris to try to form a party to go find the missing elder's daughter. And so Leocris went around the tavern and found all of the party that we currently have, and they all said, yeah, sure, we can assist as long as we get paid. And well, they were. And after a couple of hours, they all eventually went out into the woods. They discovered that the daughter of the elder was being used for horrible things, blood magic sorts of stuff. They fought cultists that summoned harpies with blood and such. And after a quick little squabble up there and chopping off some harpies, they quickly returned to city with the daughter in tote and returned her back to the elder. That night in town, while they were setting up to rest again and go back home, a fire broke out across from the town guard over here, and quickly everyone assembled over there, and they realized that somebody was setting these buildings ablaze. And so they tracked down this person running about the city, hurling fireballs all around. And while they were hunting them down, out sprung all these mercenaries / bandits out of the shadows and out of their their costumes and other such things, their deceptive things. And a surprise attack was launched on Urt. After dealing with some of the attackers, they started getting the upper hand with it after taking some hits here and there. And then, as it looked like they were finally turning the tide, it was seen that 4 men all spread out across the battles just suddenly started morphing and changing and turned into those lycanthropic werewolves. And without their magic spells that they've already run out fighting the men, and without silver weapons, they were forced to fall back out of town and make their way out of the city over to the town of Termar. It's only about a 3-day journey over there, so it wasn't much of a leg walk, but that was where the first session stopped, was right at them heading over to Termar. They rescued about 25 people out of the city. They got the remaining legion of the city guard there and the captain also over to Tamar, and so some of the rebellion that settled at Urt is now with people of this city, and they had that connection with them there. But in the town of Tamar is where our friend Venix actually has some history there, and we will ask him to talk about it after I get through the introduction to the town. So, Tamar is known for the silver mines and the wealthy Brotherhood Casino. Tamar is a destination for many people looking to get life started. Not only does the town host a casino, but they also have their roots of the merchants guild here, who carry many supplies of many natures and offer plenty of work. Along with these, there's a astounding arena with its high wood seats and walls of an open floor for combat with a testament of skills. Next is the Trade Ward, residing in the area of many small shops, hosting people of mixed talents and wares. Finally, Cold Crest Castle, a castle that is perpetually cold, stands tall, uncontested, and unscathed. So, as I was saying, our bard here, Venix Aurelium, had a little bit of history, and this is where we sort of discovered his backstory as the party, and I will let him talk about it. Mike, you there?
Yeah.
If you would like, you can chat about your backstory and your history inside of Tamar with the Brotherhood there, and then along with Caden.
Yeah, so my backstory is I grew up in the very poor area in Tamar, and my family really had nothing. We basically lived off scraps and lived on the streets most of our lives, but I always had an affinity and skill with playing instruments. So I started to make a little bit of money playing instruments at different taverns and eventually at the casino for the Brotherhood of the Coin. And one thing led to another, and eventually they had me do a job for them, and they do a lot of crime there. Basically, that's how they make most of their money. Um, so they had me do a job for them to make some gold, and then after I did that, they wouldn't let me out, and I was basically stuck in there, and I couldn't see my family or anything anymore. So I was stuck in the Brotherhood for uh, quite a few years, and eventually, after a lot of terrible things they had people do and things they had done, I stole a decent amount of gold from them and left the city and went to Urt, where I stayed in a tavern playing as a bard for like 2 years until I met up with the rest of the party.
Yeah, so you had a rather fun run-in with the casino. Well, whenever you guys got to Smarn after settling in the town and everything like that with the temple there and Leocrius's religious ways, you guys eventually made your way over to the casino, and you and Caden had a fun little scuffle on the front of it.
Yeah, so we were on our way back to the Merchants Guild to find the rest of the group, and two Brotherhood members came up behind us and basically held knives to our back and told us to walk with them. On the way there, I forget what spell I cast, but eventually I was able to get away from them. They still captured Zangotin, and I went and hid in the streets while they brought him in.
Yeah, and you managed to break away, and you disguised yourself as an old man in the back streets while everybody else eventually found their way inside of the casino and made their way back up to the top there and went and talked to your favorite friend, Sigor.
Right, and Sigor is Dragonborn, and he's the leader of the Brotherhood of the Coin. And basically, since me and Zangerton were both like on bad terms with them, they kind of forced us into a job for them again, and it was to go clear out an area of the mines that they own, because they had some monsters on there messing with their workers.
Yeah, I thought I had a journal on Sigor, but I guess not, so I guess I'll actually do that before I close up the stream tonight. Make sure we get all that information in there for you guys. But nonetheless, yeah, you guys, or at least everybody up there, you had no idea they decided to agree in the contract that you guys would go and clear the mines and no one would get killed for doing that or their previous transgressions. And after everybody had left the casino and made their way back to the temple and such like that, you found your way back with the group and filled you in, and you guys dove into the fun exploration of the temple below Tamar.
Right, do you want me to walk through that, or you got it?
Can if you want to.
Yeah, so we went down. So the mines start next to the big river. There's like a big gorge at the front of the city, and there's like an elevator system that brings you down the edge of the wall into the different mine areas. And we went down there with one of the foremen of the mine, and he showed us where people were seeing monsters and they're having problems. And we found a group of, I forget what they're called.
Troglodytes? Is that what we're looking for?
Yeah, troglodytes. There you go. and we fought them, but eventually, when we got down to one left, he ran away and slipped through this hole in the, or I guess a crack in the back wall, and it led us to this dark, old ruin of an ancient Dwarvish civilization.
And
And then,
yeah, the Brotherhood guy who you guys were with kind of dipped back after you guys found that, but you guys were left to explore it on your own.
right. As we went through that, there wasn't any monsters in the main area of it, but we found a lot of like old like books and writings from this old Dwarven civilization and some chests with some items in it. Nothing too crazy, but eventually we found this room with these 4 suits of armor placed like around the room, and it led to a hallway above it with tombs on each side, and the top of it had a big altar where we found a ghost of was he like one of the leaders of the dwarves from back then.
Yeah. I forget his name. I think it was like King Gorum or something like that. I personally don't remember his name. I don't think I wrote it down. Might be in my note here. Yeah, King Grior. There's the boy.
He possessed me.
Yeah, you're fighting ghosts and wisps, and all of a sudden the ghost took over your body. How'd you guys combat that?
So, I'm trying to remember. It was like a.
So did you go through the puzzle? So we had to do things with the casts or the caskets. We found that ghost guy, and then
Ran there's a riddle that we deciphered, and we had to find the right suit of armor to place in the empty tomb.
Right, and then whenever we did that, some angry dwarf guy spawned with will-o-wisps and ghost guy, I guess, and then he possessed me. You cast hideous laughter on me, which made him leave, and then you guys fucked him up.
Right.
Yeah, and after clawing through him, he whisked away, and the King Ghost, or the King Dwarf that was nice to you guys, kind of fizzled out as well. And as you guys went to go and screw with the chest that you had found, it seemed to mysteriously disappear from your hands. And as you went to go check the king's coffin, as he told you before leaving that it was okay for you to kind of check out his heirloom items there, you found the Ember Axe and Frostbrand short sword.
Right.
Yeah, dude,
and I think
that Frostbrand short sword is OP.
Yeah, the paladin took the Frostbrand sword, and the dwarf took the axe.
Yep. After you guys got the weaponry out of his coffin, you realized that back wall had crumbled as well, and you guys were able to delve further inward, and that was everything. All that, I believe, happened in session 2, if I remember right, and going into the depths of the temple was session 3.
I think that makes sense, yeah.
And who wants to walk through that fun little dungeon dive that you guys had?
I honestly don't remember it too much. I know we went down in there and there were Caden got a potion from one of the rooms.
Yeah, I don't think he's used that yet.
Yeah, no, he hasn't. Forget about that.
And then he got some spell books, or no, maybe it was ingredients books, and then he made the potion with the plants from the other room that he found. But anyways, I went down further and there was skeletons that we fought. They were quick 2-shot skeletons. They weren't anything super crazy. Oh, this was the one where like we like had gas and like hissing and flamethrowers and stuff in that one room.
Right.
Yeah, you guys were checking out the armory over there that was hidden behind the rubble, and after kind of screwing around a bunch with it and kind of poking and prodding as much as you could. I think I'm gonna sneeze and I know it. I guess not.
Bless you.
You guys found like the hidden switches below the armor suits and inside the dragon's maws, and as you guys kind of toiled with the stuff in there, you realize that that well in the center, the water down in there would lower and recede, and down below there was a lever inside that you could pull and twist and other such things, and you could hear something grind and churn as you did it, and after kind of toiling with some of the other stuff, it eventually opened up that back wall. But before going back there, you guys went and explored the king's bedroom. Yo, thank you so much, Shortkin. You are my first.
Dude, I like that name.
First sub.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
What a guy. Yeah, so you guys went inside the king's quarters over there and dug around a little bit, and I decided to reward, I think it was you, Blake, for actually looking under the bed for something, and you found that very ornate, like, ceremonial lance there.
Oh, that lance, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
but that was also whenever you guys stuffed that into the bag of holding, which had like a whole bunch of crappy old dwarven armor suits in it that you guys yoinked out of the freaking.
Yeah, I wasn't about it, but they were like, we can sell this, and then we went to go sell it, and they're like, it's worthless.
No, we sold them for like $10 or something. Hey, the bronze stuff was worth platinum. That's all I'm gonna say.
Alright, yeah, then as you guys well, riskingly jumping over that ravine over there, and everyone was a little apprehensive about that, but nah, you guys said screw it, do it anyways, with a whole bunch of pittons and rope and stuff like that. You guys eventually made your way back through and found that rosen up back door at the bottom of the staircase. And what happened down there?
The rosen up door at the bottom of the staircase.
Yeah, where you came down as a large grand hall out
Oh,
there.
bruh. No, okay. Hold on. This is the... Alright, so we walk in, right? And there's, like, goblins doing this, like, chant. And our sorcerer, like, just walks up. He can speak goblin, by the way. He can totally understand what these guys are saying. He just walks up and just fireballs the shit out of them.
Yeah, absolutely no remorse or whatever. Not even gonna try to talk to him. Just he sees these two shaman kind of sitting there on that center pedestal, working with the magic of the area, chanting, and he just yeets a fireball and absolutely cooks them. But before they can be finished off, they use their swap spell and swap places with another goblin inside the building, causing them to burn to a crisp instead. And after dealing with that, you guys are able to go through the side halls and found like the whole feast of goblins going on in there.
Yeah, they were eating, but since we already attacked them, we just had to slaughter all the goblins over their dinner. Honestly, looking back on it, we kind of messed up, but it happened.
I mean, what was really gonna happen? That it was gonna end up in a fight, anyways.
We're gonna translate it. We're gonna talk to him.
I was gonna say we could have got a little bit more information out of him before we ended up having to kill them, but like in the end, it was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys absolutely murked all the goblins in there, and dealt with all the small, kind of annoying goblins that they are. But not before too much longer. The center pedestal in the grand room had something spawn on it, right?
Yeah, so
Oh
those,
yeah, a giant golem. Go ahead,
those
Mike.
blue orbs started like light up, like they were doing when they were chanting, but now they like lit up a lot more, and a big stone golem spawned in the middle of it.
Yeah, and I don't remember who it was. Who got beat by it by a little bit. Is it Blake again?
It's me every time.
I think Blake and
No,
Clay
no, no,
both
no.
did.
That one was Trent. Trent got hurt pretty bad, and then he had to like
Yeah.
run away.
Yeah, you're right.
I recall, yeah. And after dismantling it and hacking it down, you guys searched through it and found that like blue gemstone that was cracked through it and pocketed that in the back of holding. And then after that, you guys made your way back up to that top room there where you found the two shaman still chanting. And this time, after Zangoton realized he could chat Goblin, you guys, instead of decapitating them, you took them prisoner. And there, inside the tree, you found that chest from the top room that had teleported away from you guys.
Right, and there's also we looked into like one of the books we saw, and there was stuff about orbs in a tree or something that we read about. But it's basically saying that like they use these orbs to bring life to different things. So that's how they grow in this tree underground.
Yep, and do you guys remember what you found inside the chest?
They're dragon teeth.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, 3 dragon's teeth were laid out inside of it, and you guys are currently holding on to those, waiting to try to get out east, where you remember all the stories of the dragons flying about out there.
Right.
And then, in order to get out of the place, you guys walked over into that giant ballista room / siege ballistae, and found that elevator nested into the walls and shimmied, well, yanked on the chain and made your way up and out back into that ravine and over the shambling bridge that was connected to it back over into Termar. And I believe there in Tamar, after going back, taking the 2 goblins that you had prisoners and quote-unquote donating them to the Brotherhood, you guys were let go from the Brotherhood. Like, you weren't forced to take up jobs at the moment, but they said they will be in contact, and you guys are still kind of tied with them at the moment, but that's yet to be seen.
Right. They
So-
at least told me that they told me how much debt I owed, and they said I have to like work off it by doing jobs for them. But we'll see if that actually comes around, because I do not want to do anything for them anymore.
Yeah, and then after you guys came back and did a little bit of gambling and such like that, you went over to the Merchants Guild and sold away those dwarven goods, some of them, not all of them if I recall, and made some extra cash for everybody. And while you were there, that halfling that works inside the Merchants Guild,
Finrat.
yeah, he gave you, like, Venix, a chance to work with him.
Right, because I went and talked to him about magical items before, because it's something like my character's interested in. And he was telling me he was tinkering on with this dagger that when you throw it, it'll teleport back into your hand after it hits something. But it was still like not working correctly. Like it had a chance to explode whenever you threw it, which wasn't too great of a feeling, knowing that I had this thing in my hand. But I brought our cleric with me, and I spent the afternoon throwing it and trying to get used to it, trying to feel what you need to do to make it work right. And at one point, it actually blew up in my hand, and a few fingers fell off. But our cleric was able to patch me up, so it worked out. But it was quite dangerous.
I really think you should have had your fingers kept off. I think you should have failed.
Oh yeah.
Failed the magic save. That'd be hilarious. You gotta.
What if he just said no? What if he just like was like, no, I'm not gonna heal your fingers.
You have a 3-finger bard.
How would I play my songs?
Very carefully. But after working with his magical kunai, Beanret worked with you on the contract, right?
Yeah, so we basically asked them for work because we wanted to leave tomorrow, because we didn't want to be just on call from the Brotherhood all the time. And the Merchants Guild mentioned earlier that they have work that you can get paid quite well for. So I talked to him about different things we can do, and eventually we decided on escorting some carriages of merchandise they're trying to sell to another branch of the Merchants Guild in Kaza.
Yeah, Kabazurum. Yep. And before you guys were able to depart, and I think before, it was like just after you finished with Kunai, you guys went and talked to the leaders of the rebellion inside of the Gold Crest Castle in Tamar. Yeah, and in there you guys come up with a plan to send the detachment of the Urt Guards and Captain with you on the what was it, the caravan east, and they were able to scout out Urt, and we will get to that in a moment. Before you guys departed, you guys decided to spend like one last night in town and enjoy the casino, and the Accursed had a couple drinks and eventually remembered that heard word of the coming testament of strength inside of the tournament in town, and you guys had a whole scenario with that.
Yeah, I went there, found out about all this like tournament and fighting stuff going on, and was like, yo, this is a great idea if I go get our half orc and bring him over here, and just like we can bet on him. We'll bet against him first and then make him, fight again and just absolutely clobber everybody, and then, win a lot of gold off of him. The betting didn't go as planned, but the battle was fantastic.
Yeah, watching him throw the fight and get healed up by you and then absolutely clobber him. That was funny from my end. But you guys learned of the tournament system inside of the world then, but sadly with your contract you weren't able to stick around to see how that went for you. And on the day afterwards, you guys departed town with the merchant's caravan, where you really met Bariz.
Right, and Bariz
My
is
man.
I think he's a human, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a human. He's in charge of like a lot of the carts of the merchant guild. Like he was leading the caravan, and he was in charge of like making sure what they have and all the personnel they're bringing. So we talked to him and just told him who we are and that our plan was to bring some Urt guards until we up to Urt and then leave from then. He was okay with that, so we just got ready to leave the next day.
Yeah, and as you guys departed from Tamar with Bariz and the caravan, you guys set camp on, I think it was like the second night, and had your whole bonding experience.
Right, we basically went through all our backstories. We felt like we were traveling long enough together now that we basically opened up about everything, because we didn't really tell each other about our past as much as most people would, because a lot of us don't want to talk about our past. But we basically all opened up about everything, and we talked to Bariz about the world as well.
Yeah, and if you guys want to go through your character backstories that have been revealed so far, if it's not everything that you want to say, go for it.
Mine's been completely revealed. Hold on, I'll pull it up so I actually make sure I have it right.
Yeah, I did mine earlier. Tomorrow. But
Yeah, so I'll give the insight on Trath. I said that it was a follower that you had carried from Urt, and you're kind of been a little bit of a mentor slash fatherly figure for him at the moment, leading him through his oaths and prayers and such like that, as he's really the only young guy that was inside of your following at Urt. And you guys even kind of expunged some money on him too, buying him armor and weapons, trying to get him to be a better person. And as you guys had left Urt, you guys know that he took the oath of vengeance, I think it was, or revenge.
Yeah, it was vengeance.
Yeah. Since then, he's kind of been discovering his powers through the goddess and continuing to develop as a young paladin. Then Blake can spill the beans on you.
Yeah. Do you want me to go like? Do you want me to just read this, or do you want me to just shorten it up?
Shorten a bit because we don't need the whole intricacies of it all.
Yeah. So basically, I'm a half elf. My dad was a human, and my mom was an elf. So I'm the oldest of 3 kids. It's me and my 2 sisters. We lived in a small town across from Pazilvis, across the ocean. And basically, my dad ran a shop in the town. And while I was young, around 13, I helped him run the shop and everything. And there was this caravan that came through our town, and it had a whole bunch of nobles and stuff on it. And the guy that was like guarding the caravan came into our shop and had a chat with me, and he told me, I'm a soldier for the king, and I do all this stuff. If you want to do this whenever you're older, you can come do it. And so he gave me like this little coin thing, and by the time I turned 16, I had held on to it, didn't really have anything going on, didn't really want to work in the shop anymore, so I figured I'd pack up my stuff and head to the Titanian Kingdom. And it was like my first time ever being in a kingdom, so I didn't really know what I was doing. So basically, I approached these soldiers, told them like, yo, hey, this guy talked to me one time and I want to be a soldier too. They kind of looked at the coin I gave, I showed them, and they brought me into the palace. And the guy that I had talked to came back up to me and was like, all right, if you want to be a soldier, let's think about it. And he talked with me, and he told me there's a whole bunch of duties, rules, adventures, and then he's like, there's also a lot of bad to it. You're gonna have to kill, and you have to work every day and shit like that. And so I was like, whatever, I'll be a soldier. I'm here. This is what I want to do. So I served under this king in the Titanian Kingdom for 7 years, doing all the good and bad. But in my 8th year, there was this call I had to go on, this mission in a town west of the kingdom, and it's just we figured it was routine, and we march in there with a couple men, and whenever we get in there, it turns out to be a trap. There's a whole bunch of archers on roofs. They end up burning down a whole bunch of buildings and stuff like that. I quickly knew we were outnumbered. A lot of men died. I sent one back for help. Since I knew I was outnumbered, I figured not to fight the battle, but instead to start saving the citizens that I could, whose houses were burning and stuff like that. I saved this one woman and her kid, but when I saved her, I had been pretty badly burned and I passed out. I woke up in her care and her husband's care, and she asked me, what this coin was, and she said that the other side of the coin, the etchings I didn't understand on the other side, were of a goddess of Civitas. And I was like, okay, that's great. The lady swore up and down that the goddess saved me, but I didn't really buy into it. So eventually, I'm badly burned. I go back to the kingdom to heal up, and they honorably discharge me, basically. I go home, I'm working with my family. Dad's doing great. He opened up another shop and all that stuff. And so I'm there for a while. And one day I'm helping my mom wash laundry in the river. And I just have this episode where I have this light begins to flash in my eyes, and I feel faint. My ears begin to ring at a deafening volume. And the coin that I'm holding becomes really super hot, and so basically I almost pass out. And my mom's like, "Bro, this goddess is calling to you. Go talk to our town's priest." And so I talked to the priest. He told me to go to an altar. Basically, it's an altar for all gods, but it's just our town altar up on the hill. So I went up there and I prayed, and I was about to give up because nothing was happening. But as I was leaving, I prayed one more time, and she appeared to me, and it was like a blinding light. I really couldn't see anything, but I knew she was there because I felt the same feelings I was feeling down at the river, but like all at once and then not at all. I was calm, and like she told me like, hey, I've been calling on you. I want you to serve under me. Basically, I've led you on your path to become a soldier. I know you can serve. I know you're a worthy warrior. Now I want you to go, and I want you to spread the light throughout the world, take out the evil, spread the light, help everyone that needs help. And so basically I was like, all right, yeah, I'm on board. Obviously this is a god and I need to go do it. So I basically grabbed my coin and just took off. I went across the ocean and I traveled for a bit until I ran into like this more educated priest, and he was like, you need to take an oath, dumbass. Like you need to take an oath and actually swear your allegiance to your god. And so once I did that, basically my goddess's power really started to flow through me, and I was able to actually start spreading the light.
Yeah, and then after that you made your way to Xuven, right?
Yeah, so I sailed across the ocean, landed in Pazilbis, didn't hang around there too long, and I passed up through Tolu after the Battle of Tolu had already happened, and so I stuck around there to help with what I could, but I'm pretty poor. After I helped with what I could with Tolu, I continued north into Urt, and when I landed in Urt, there was a temple there, and it was kind of like everybody's temple. So like Vodar was there and he was practicing his religion in there. I kind of set up camp in the temple also, and I gained a couple followers, mostly old people from Urt, but like they vibed with my whole mantra. And that's where also we found Trath, because Trath was one of the younger disciples I had, and he was willing to help us fight in the name of our goddess.
Yeah, and all that was spilled around the campfire, and eventually got around to asking Baris if he believes in anything, and he kind of laughed at you and made fun of you for it and said he's not too religious. And then we kind of shared stories and went around the circle, and Vardar gave a little bit on his backstory, not much. He was born and raised inside of Norndar room up there, the dwarven clan inside / under the mountains, and he's only, I think he's about like 55 or something like that, and he has been born and raised inside of the temple in there, following the whatever his god is of life and death. Blood of Vol, that's what it is.
Blood of Vol, yeah.
And he's been there since birth, orphan, and eventually he, as he was growing up, he was eventually deemed a heretic for his ways inside of the religion. He didn't really explain too much why he was labeled as a heretic. Hopefully we can explore that soon. But he was labeled a heretic and ejected from the clan on the premise that he can only return if he returns with the information of the outside world and its current happenings. So he has been down through Kabazurum and made a couple religious friends there, and then eventually decided he must continue on with the exploration westward and settled in Urt, where you found him. But I believe that's all we really know about any sort of his backstory. And then Zangotin, or Caden, he is a half-elf sorcerer who was, I believe, born and raised in Tamar. Don't know anything about his parents or anything like that. All I know is that he has the blood of, I believe it was not from Sigor, but it is draconic blood given by Sigor, the leader of the Brotherhood, and thus he was given his sorcerer's powers and his draconic scales that harden underneath his skin, giving him that boost to his defense. From there, he did jobs with the Brotherhood pretty regularly, and kind of worked his way through there, and eventually he murdered somebody in cold blood on one of his escape aids for stealing from some sort of noble. After that murder, he was forced to flee town, and eventually you came across him inside of Urt there on the at the bar, and Benix, Mike, you actually recognized him from all his ins and outs of the Brotherhood there, and you took him aside and chatted him up about it, and that's how you two kind of have a little bit of a relationship from before, right?
Right, I was able to recognize him because I saw him around back in the day, but I definitely didn't trust him at first. I'm always scared about Brotherhood people if they're gonna come after me or not. But I got to talking to him and realized that he left as well, but on better terms than I did at least. But yeah, we have some connection there.
Yeah, and lastly is Zosk. He is a half-orc, home of the Icehawk clan up north at the roots of at the roots of the mountain, and there he was raised as some sort of fighter slash hunter for the clan. As he was growing up, he wanted to attest for the the chief part of it all, chief of the clan, and in order to become chief of the clan, he had to prove himself. But in order to do that, he must outdo his rival inside the clan, and by doing so, he's been on his own hunt, hunting down harpies and other sorts of things on his explorations outside of the clan, trying to make a name for himself. And on his explorations, he eventually found his way to Tolu inside of the rebellion, and fought there on the side of the rebellion, claiming a good number of kills, and before returning to Urt to heal his wounds. Thanks, Matt, for your prime. I really appreciate it. But after that, you guys eventually figured out that he also got rather recklessly attacked and destroyed by the Alpha Harpy of the northern region up there, and he has kind of sworn to himself to take it down whenever he can. But that is all he's got at the moment. I don't have any emotes at the moment, but I do have the BTTV moments. Maybe if I knew how to use it right.
Night.
Alright, so I believe that's everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's mostly all we went through on that night where we talked on the campfire for like an hour.
Yeah. Lots of fun chitter chatter between everybody. And
I think the only person I guess would like to know more about is Zango. And if he has anything, I'm not sure though. He just seems like he hasn't done as much. But also the dwarf Vodar, because no one really knows much about the dwarfs in this world.
yeah, it's hopefully we'll explore more of that in the coming days. But nonetheless, you guys enjoyed the night there, and eventually rolled through Urt and stumbled across some kind of ugly things there. If anyone wants to elaborate on that. No?
Sorry, I wasn't listening. What?
You guys, after your couple nights on the road, you guys eventually had to make your way through Urt, and as you rolled through, you're expecting to find some sort of resistance there, but you guys found what?
We found a group of bandits, basically. Like, these people were essentially just looting Urt, and so we fought them, and we were expecting, like lycanthropes and all this stuff, but what we found instead, like while we're fighting all these bandits, these flesh golems pop up. They're like a pile of flesh in the middle of town. We're assuming all the dead bodies from like Urt, but it was actually like these flesh golems pop up. They were only able to be killed with magic. So we have a a half orc that can deal numbers and damage, and he's swinging at these things, and they're just taking the blows. They weren't doing anything, so we had to fight that. Eventually, we killed them though, so that was good.
Yeah, you guys quickly dispatch those, and the surviving scavengers slash looters, and return to the caravan with the detachment of the guards that were sent along with you to scout, and gave word that it's kind of all clear, and you guys rolled through with no problem afterwards. But the aftermath and the pile of bodies kind of left a little bit of a shaking chord to Trath as he quickly went about and double checked that his parents weren't easily noticed inside the pile, and there was no sign of any sort of struggle inside of his somewhat wrecked home. He holds out hope for them to still be alive somewhere. But after that, you guys rolled onward over to Kabazurum, and I believe it was on the 5th night or morning of your journey to Kabazurum. You guys encountered the highway bandits there. There, you guys kind of rolled up into the scene with the caravan, and it was early morning, and you couldn't see too well, and well, Trath and some others couldn't, but as you guys were rolling through, you guys were forced to stop due to that downed tree across the road, and a captain of the mercenaries, or highway bandits rather, appeared on that ledge above you and told you to stand down and step away from the goods. And after choosing to ignore his commands, Leocris got a fun stomach full once again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, I totally thought like I was gonna command that guy to jump off the cliff and like totally mess him up, and dude, I commanded that guy to jump off a cliff, whiffed my first 2 hits, and then that dude went on a fury attack and gutted me.
Yeah, that guy messed you up. I'm pretty sure me and Trent both spent our turns after that healing you.
Yeah. You guys took some time getting the caravans through that roadblock there over the rocks and through the brush, and on their way after clearing out the highway bandits, and after dispatching the captain and many of the other bandits, the last 2 surrendered to you, with one running away up the cliff face that you couldn't quite get up in time.
Yeah, we captured 2 of them. I forget what we did with them though.
We took them to wherever we're going tomorrow, and we released them to the captain. I'm
you
pretty
took
sure.
them to Cabo.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Cabo.
Yeah, we gave them to the guard captain. What's his name?
Habam.
Habam.
Yeah.
Yeah, and from there, you guys settled into Kabazurum, and give me a moment, and I'll chat about that to them.
Hey Dana, whenever you get a chance, you need to move the town icon off of the dot. Like, put it at the end of the thing, because whenever actually, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm stupid. I'm a dumbass. Just ignore everything I just said. Go ahead.
I'll do that. Well, nonetheless, Kabazurum, or Cabo for short, is a city nestled in the foothills of the Blainstone Mountains. Here, people are rugged and fend for themselves, with many townspeople working for the mines or hunting big game on the mountainside. The recent discovery of new vein of coal has kept the mines open for another generation, but with the recent creation and invitation of the Merchants Guild, it seems that trade and commerce are finally finding their way to Cabo. And it is also known that the Mages Guild is beginning their operations here. Yeah, so whenever you guys rolled into Cabo, you guys quickly made your way up to the Bariz and got your contract paid, and after that you guys went and talked to the Captain Habam inside of the castle there, in which he elected to kind of put the city on low alert, get his guards not to be so light at the front gate there, and you guys were told to wait on the scry from the mages from Tamar, and
Right.
after that, you guys were left to your devices.
They didn't. I guess the whole town of Cabo didn't really hear about what happened in Urt yet, so we're kind of the first people letting them know.
Yeah, after that, you guys kind of went around and shared the knowledge with the Temple of Tamar, or Temple of Cabo, got the clerics there ready to dispatch any sort of necessities that they can handle themselves, along with the Mages Guild that you guys found that was being built there. And working with the Mages Guild, you guys understood that there was opportunities for work and exploration there, but you all decided that it was time to catch some shut-eye, and that, I believe, is where our 4th session? 5th? 4th or 5th?
I think it's like 6. I think the first one was 2 that you were thinking of. Then the 3rd was going to Tamar.
Yeah. Anyways, then this last session is actually, I believe, where we started.
Right, we woke up after talking to Mages Guild and went back right there to get work again. So yeah, that makes sense. It's all together now.
Yeah, that is everything that has happened. And if people had watched it, and if you hadn't, go watch the other video to see the last session that we have just done.